Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to ncêled. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. You all are going to see the videos and the effects of this administration on these people. Now, why am I saying on these people? On them because they've been the ones screaming up and down. The fact that all of them are coming out to speak up is kind of wild because they knew what they were voting for. But one thing they did not know was because they didn't know that everything was going to start with them. And I am going to ask this. What if black people, I mean, my people are the ones going through this? What if it were people of color, right? Would these people be granting all this interview, coming out straight up to say that, that they are cooked, life is hard for them? Will they come out to speak up for black people? This is what I am asking because I don't know why they are all coming out to scream and shout that they are being affected. You are affected because you refuse to listen. You all thought it was going to be better for you and not okay for people that look like me. Now I am going to say this. If you people do not learn from what is going on now, you people will never learn. And for the people that are still standing on business, that are very supportive of everything going on, I hope your left bots get cooked because you all are not good people. Let's get into this video.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Let me show you.
I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, the benefits of being a veteran. But I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country. But now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not, the guy out there working in the trenches trying to make ends meet, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay the bills. It goes against everything I expected when, I voted for him.
So you're not satisfied with what you said?
No. And it doesn't even have to do with anything about me getting fired. I mean, if I had gotten fired as part of the, government, cutting government spending, I would have been fine with that. I can accept that. But he's not delivering on anything he said he was going to do. So what's your real game plan? It doesn't make sense to me.
There are some things that he promised to do that he has put in place. I mean, there are executive orders that he's done, that he said that he was going to do. You don't feel like he's lived up to those promises?
I mean, where are the results? I mean, seriously, prices are still going up. We're now in the middle of a tariff war with a bunch of countries that used to be our steadfast allies. I mean, how do you make an enemy of Canada? They're right next to us, and they've been one of our premier allies and commerce partners for, I mean, seriously, centuries now?
And he did say that he was going to put tariffs in place. Did you just not think that they would be implemented in this particular way?
I didn't think they were going to be put in play in a juvenile way. I mean, where was the attempt to actually talk to the heads of these other countries like, hey, I feel you have unfair tariffs against our products. I'd like to talk about it first. And if we can't work out some kind of resolution, then I feel to protect our people, we need to implement this kind of tariff. There was no attempt at even talking to the other countries.
He thought that the policies that Donald Trump implemented wouldn't affect him. He was all for it because the way Donald Trump presented the things that he was going to do They were going to hurt other people. And he was all for that. He was all for that. But now, all that Donald Trump said he was going to do, that he's been able to do, it affects them. Federal employee lost his job. Tariffs affecting him. Prices still going up. Donald Trump said prices were going to come down on day one. They're still going up. That's affecting him. Donald Trump presented all of this harm as if it was going to affect other people, and they were all for it. So when they get up on camera, making posts, talking about their vote, they regret their vote for Donald Trump, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
I did vote for Trump, and now I will deal with the aftermath of the tariffs. I compared 2024 first quarter to 2025 first quarter. I am down 70%.
Oh, Matthew, you might lose your business? Well, while this is stupendous news, I feel like we can do more. Does anyone have a tutorial on how we can get him down 100% or like... I love when bad things happen to bad people. My only gripe is that it doesn't happen enough, which is clear by the fact that J-Lo is still running around hooting and hollering. Nevertheless, I'll take what I can get. And this right here, this makes me incredibly happy because you are getting exactly what you voted for. Y'all were so happy to vote against equality that y'all forgot to read the fine print, because this is literally the transitive property of equality. Y'all be talking about some, oh, I'm voting for Trump because he's a businessman. He's gonna run America like a business. He's literally filed for bankruptcy at least 6 times, including a casino. So if he has destroyed several businesses and he's gonna run America like a business, then that means... yeah. Mind you, the competent, educated, qualified black woman had a plan to help your small business, but all you could see was that she was a black woman. That's y'all's problem, though, is that you're so filled with hate that you have no room for logic or common sense. Either that or you're too busy kissing your cousin to put 2 and 2 together. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. I hope you continue to get everything you voted for. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
Mr. Trump, President, I was called a deployable back in 2016 when I voted for you. And I stood behind you, President Trump. You did great things for the 4 years that you was president. And then you rerun in 2020. You didn't win. It wasn't my fault, Mr. President. I voted for you. And then I voted for you again. I know you only been in for about 3 or 4 months. But Mr. President, you said, promises made, promises kept. Well, Mr. President, I'm hurting right now. I just draw a small Social Security check, not much money. But now gas has done went from $2.53 a gallon to almost $3, Mr. President. You need to help us keep your promise. I'll let you see what gas prices is if you can see it up there. Yeah, almost $3 a gallon, Mr. President. I cannot afford $3 a gallon for gas. I still got faith in you. You need to help us keep your promise.
You know, when I first watched this video, I really was thinking about giving you empathy and sympathy for what you're going through. Then I decided not to. I'm going to tell you why. Because you worshiped him. It's as simple as that. I offer you no sympathy whatsoever because you worshiped a politician. When Donald Trump rolled down that escalator in 2015, he entered the political arena, which made him a politician. I do not care what other crap he said on the stages. He became a politician. And I do not ever worship politicians. I don't wear their merch on days when they're not running for election. I don't put tattoos of them on my body. I do not call them daddy. I don't walk around with fictional pictures of them. I don't do any of that. They are my employees. And I do not wear an employee of the month hat like you're doing right now. And at the end of your video, you say you still have faith in him. And that part is where you lost me. You lost me to begin with. But at that point, empathy and sympathy went out the window. And they got shredded by a riding lawnmower. You get none. You asked for this. You did. By believing the lies, the disinformation, and the misinformation by a politician that you worshiped like he was a god. And because of this, you will suffer. And I will not feel bad for it. At all. I do not in any way, shape, form, or fashion shed one single solitary tear for anyone that fell for that and is still falling for it. When he was out talking about Haitians eating dogs and cats, you cheered. When he said that not cheating on his taxes made him a good businessman, you cheered. When he told you that vote for me and you'll never have to vote for again, you did. You'll never have to vote again, you did. You knew what that man was capable of, but for some reason, you thought he was somebody that meant everything that he said. He didn't. Had any of you Trump supporters who are now currently suffering, whether it's the tariffs, the cutting in Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, or what have you, had any of you listened to these small business owners who sued that man in New York City, you wouldn't have voted for him in the first place. He fed you a line of shit, and you believed him. And now here you are, making TikTok videos about how much harder your life is than it was before he rolled down that escalator. You wanted so desperately to believe that this man cared about you, and he didn't. No politician truly cares about you, but that man hasn't cared about anybody other than himself since long before he rolled down that escalator. You should have known. But it was okay, because Donald Trump gave you permission to be your absolute worst self, and you kept electing him. A man that broke the law is now telling people about law and order. A man who has never met a contract or a debt that he owes that he could not sue his way out of is now sitting at the levers of power in the executive branch, cutting things that you need. You could have been smarter, but you were not. For whatever reason, You thought the idea of a country that best looked like it looks right now was something you could not abide by. I could go to the usual isms, but why? You know why you did it. There is no need for me to rehash your sins. But you believed him. How many Trump shirts do you have? How many Trump hats do you own? How many bumper stickers with "Make America Great Again" do you have? I'm pretty sure just sitting in that truck right now while you're trying to bitch, moan, and complain about gas, I guarantee you it's probably covered in Trump stickers. No politician in the history of American politics has lied as much as this man has, fulfilled none of the things he promised, and yet still has supporters acting as though he is God. So no, sir. In no way, shape, form, or fashion do I feel bad for you. I don't. I wish you nothing but what you asked for, nothing but what you voted for 3 times. But I want you to remember something. You could have done better, but you didn't. Whatever made you pull the lever for that man 3 times, you will now reap every single moment of it. We are a little over 100 days, and he has already made your life 10 times worse, and you're still begging him to fulfill promises he had no intention on fulfilling in the first place. I wish you good luck in the recession to come.
You voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, the benefits of being a veteran.
Pray tell, what exactly were the plans that he had said he was going to put in place that had you so excited that he was going to take care of veterans? What was the indication he gave you from his first presidency? Particularly when in 2017, he froze federal agencies, which affected the VA for 79 days. What was the reason? To reduce government agencies through attrition, to make the government leaner and more efficient. That's it. No plan. Literally, remove workers and do not replace. Exactly how does that get you your benefits when there's no one there to help you? Not to mention his privatization push, which basically made VA care lower quality, fragmented, and weaker overall. Trump actually downplayed the severity of combat troops' TBIs, traumatic brain injuries that they suffered from, calling them headaches. And finally, something that you guys seem to be totally blind towards accepting is him calling fallen soldiers suckers and losers, to include prisoners of war like Senator John McCain. May he rest. Why do you think this man gives a fuck about you as a veteran? He has given no indication, in fact, the opposite, that he cares about veterans or doing anything for them.
I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country, but now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not...
Where have you been?
The guy out there working in the trenches, trying to make ends meet, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay the bills. It goes against everything I expected when, I voted for him.
So you're not satisfied with what you see?
No. And it doesn't even have to do with anything about me getting fired. I mean, if I had gotten fired as part of the, government, cutting government spending, I would have been fine with that. I can accept that.
Liar, liar, pants on fire, my little Pinocchio.
But he's not delivering on anything he said he was going to do.
What policies? Tell us. What specific policies were you so excited about? Because I don't remember a damn one that he proposed that made any fucking sense. You're not off the hook.
So what's your real game plan? You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
There are some things that he promised to do that he has put in place. I mean, there are executive orders that he's done, that he said that he was going to do. You don't feel like he's lived up to those promises?
I mean, where are the results? I mean, seriously, prices are still going up.
I'm going to say this once more because people don't seem to understand. Number one, the president is not the single biggest factor that affects global and national prices. There are other factors. That is just one. Secondly, your inability to understand why prices go up and down goes to show that you don't fucking get why Donald Trump is terrible when it comes to the economy. You know, he's terrible when it comes to everything, but one disaster at a time.
We're now in the middle of a tariff war with a bunch of countries that used to be our steadfast allies. I mean, how do you make an enemy of Canada? You know, they're right next to us, and they've been one of our premier allies and commerce partners for, I mean, seriously, like what, centuries now?
And he did say that he was going to put tariffs in place. Did you just not think that they would be implemented in this particular way?
I didn't think they were going to be put in play in a juvenile way.
I think you could have just stopped at, I didn't think.
I mean, where was the attempt to actually talk to the heads of these other countries? Like, hey, you know, I feel you have unfair tariffs against our products. I'd like to talk about it first. And if we can't work out some kind of resolution, then I feel to protect our people, we need to implement this kind of tariff. There was no attempt at even talking to the other countries.
When has he ever played nice with anyone ever? In his last presidency or outside of it, during his campaigns, when has he ever played nice? When has he ever been professional? Name one instance. I can't with these people. Y'all made your bed. Now you can lie in it.
I know you told.
Imagine what kind of asshole you have to be when you actively celebrate other people failing because of the policies being pushed by this fucking administration.
Imagine what kind of fragile, over-emotional little guy you have to be to come to the defense of another fragile, over-emotional little guy who is now in the fuck around and find out stage. Now, for context, everybody, this little guy is responding to my viral comment on this little guy's page.
Business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff.
I love this for you. I love this. Nice. I love this for you. I love to see you fail.
I find it sad that a man who voted for that orange dump truck more than once, a man with decades-long racism and bigotry, who purposely said he was going to put in place things that are going to harm not only marginalized communities, but everybody. He said this. He was very clear on his stance. But people like him, and apparently people like you, thought that it wouldn't affect you. And you're telling me you're defending a man who voted to harm other people, but now that it's affecting him personally, now he's crying and now he's asking for everybody's help? Get the fuck out of here. I stand by my comment. I love this for him, and I love this for you too.
Keep up the hard work, dumbass.
Oh, you can bet your ass I will.
This is all I got from this video, and I love the fact that they are feeling the heat coming up from their decision, right? Because all the period Black people told them that this is a very bad idea. Black people were the problem. Now they cannot afford fuel, a gallon of fuel, and it's expensive. You all know that, right? But you and I knew that it wasn't ever going to get better, or it wasn't ever going to come down. So it's never ever going to come. The price was never ever going to come down. I really do not know why some people do not listen. I mean, you can see the other one is really old enough to know that some things can never ever be true, especially him. But another thing is that this man he never lied, right? The only time he lied was during where he said he was going to bring down the prices of food and all that. But I found that it was not about the food, according to them. It was not about the groceries and the rest of it. It was because they want to hold the power. They want to hold the key to the gate. And now you all can see where the gate has landed you people. Literally all of them are crying out because it's affecting them. And I am going to ask this. What if this is not affecting them? What would have happened? What if this administration is not affecting them? Like, it is only affecting my people and other people of color, right? Would they still be standing and would they still be like, granting interviews and saying that this administration is at this point in time killing or like, it's not good? You think they will come out and speak? No, they won't. Because that was actually the reason why they voted for him. I don't know if that this does make sense. The reason why they voted was because they did not want it to feed good. They did not want it to get accommodation in some certain places. It was not about the food prices. It was not about that petrol or gas. It was because they want to hold that authority. That was the reason why it happened the way it happened. So Matthew is actually out here crying because his business is down on how many percent? This one is actually in his car crying. Why? Because he can't buy gas. It's expensive. The other one lost his job because of what? He voted for who he voted for. I don't know how to explain everything going on at this point in time, but I don't think I am sorry for anybody at this point in time. Why am I not sorry? I am not sorry because you all knew this was going to happen. I mean, Black people explained this thing several times. And you people, not like Black people explain, you people also knew. Project 2025 was a manual for you to look into, to know what his plans were or what his plans are. You all saw that, but you thought it was going to be one of those jokes people make and it never comes to pass. Like, how do you think it was? Or they knew it was going to happen, but they did not expect it to start the way it started. Because telling me you do not know, it's like trying to deceive a 1-year-old child. You knew it was going to happen, but the thing is that you were not aware it was going to start straight up from you. So, sincerely speaking, you already have to buckle up, everybody, and you all are not doing enough to make sure that you stop what it's going on. But then I don't speak up for you people, because if some of you could come out to say, what if the people that lost their job that voted for Trump can get their job back and all that, and the people that did not vote can lose their job? It means you all are not ready to fight. Not until you all are ready. We definitely will know. But at this right now, Black people are going to leave it the way it is. It's just like the way their instinct told them that it's time to move back a little bit, right? The same way, they will also come forward when it is time. And mind you, they never had meeting or they never called each other to tell each other it's time to step back. But they just were tired of your behavior, because these people have lived with you for how many years, and this is how you've been treating them. They all step back, and that is how it is. Bye for now.